Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Time YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I am your host. Post-game reaction to the K-State game this weekend. K-State loses. All right, K-State loses this weekend to the Missouri Tigers by the score of 30-27. Very disappointing loss. It was a very winnable game for K-State. K-State was just not able to pull it out. Several lead changes in this game. It was close throughout the game. All right. K-State just came up short. K-State loses on a 61-yard field goal. All right. Walk-off field goal at the end of the game by the Missouri kicker. Longest field goal in SEC history. Okay. So you're going to see this in the news. And, that's a tough way to go down. Very tough. But let's talk about kind of, what we learned today. All right. What we learned about K-State. It was a Luther Burden show today. K-State could not stop Luther Burden. I think that was the theme in this game. Luther Burden, let's see, it went for 7 receptions for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. The guy was beast mode. He's an excellent athlete, very good receiver. K-State could not stop him. I mean, that was just the theme of the game. Brady Cook goes off for 23 of 35 for 356 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay. They only scored 3 touchdowns in the game, and the rest were field goals. They got 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals. So Luther Burden gets 2 of them. Brady Cook, I think he ran in for the 3rd. We were unable to stop the passing game, and specifically K-State was unable to stop Luther Burden. I think that was the theme. Key plays where K-State kind of missed some opportunities. First quarter interception. All right. 3rd of the year for Will Howard, and it resulted in a Missouri field goal. All right. It was early in the game, but let's keep in mind, this is a game of inches. The game was close, and that was a field goal that Missouri should not have gotten so easily. All right. Intercepted on like the K-State 47-yard line. So they had a short field and they were able to get a few yards and get a field goal. So missed opportunity there. A missed field goal by K-State in the second quarter would have tied the game at 17. But K-State missed the field goal. It was a long one. I want to say it was like 55 yards. So it wasn't an easy one, but there were 2 sacks that preceded that field goal attempt where K-State lost 9 yards. All right. So like I said, a game of inches, that could have been the difference between K-State getting that field goal and in this case, not getting it. So, hey, some missed opportunities there by K-State in this game. K-State did a very good job in the 3rd quarter. K-State scored 10 points to Missouri 0, so outscored Missouri in the 3rd quarter. But the 4th quarter, K-State lost it. That's where K-State lost this game. Missouri outscored K-State in the 4th quarter 13-3. Great defensive job in the 3rd quarter, but adjustments were made, and Missouri was able to take advantage of those adjustments in the 4th quarter to win the game. The K-State defense didn't play that bad, okay? If you look at the numbers, K-State pretty much shut down the running game for Missouri. All right, Missouri only got 72 yards rushing, and their main running back, Cody Schrader, got 58 of those yards, and 36 of those yards came from one play. So for the most part, K-State was able to keep the Missouri rushing attack at bay. We just couldn't stop the passing game. There was nothing we could do against that passing game. They were getting big plays. That was the theme. Missouri was able to get big plays against K-State, and that's what won them the game. Will Howard had a pretty decent game. All right. He was 25 for 39 for 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okay. But he got the 1 interception. Like I said, this is a game of inches, especially these really, really close games. And, this was a very winnable game for K-State. K-State could have easily won this game. Keep in mind, the game was won at the last second with a 61-yard field goal, SEC record. Okay. So, in theory, that should not have gone in and the game should have went to overtime, right? But, if some opportunities weren't missed throughout the game by Kansas State, we wouldn't have been in that position anyway. Missouri got 0 turnovers and K-State got 1. So Missouri wins the turnover battle and it got them 3 points and K-State loses by 3 points. So, that was the game. All right. K-State's rushing attack was pretty average. Ward and Giddens combined for 90 yards in this game. We weren't really able to run the ball well, but we did better than Missouri. We got a total of 138 yards for the team. So, it was effective. It really didn't make a difference in the game. Avery Johnson got in there for a few plays. I think we saw towards that fourth quarter, Will Howard was hurt. He was limping quite a bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out this week. Avery Johnson seems to be the number 2. He didn't throw a pass throw. He had all running plays. So, I think folks are expecting him to be able to step in there and do big things. He's a great athlete. There's a chance he may get the start. We'll see how Will Howard's health looks this week. But I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. This time last year, he was playing high school ball, okay? I think at this point, K-State can utilize his athleticism in the running game. But I think there's a reason why he didn't throw any passes. And I think there's a reason why, for the most part, when he gets in the game, he doesn't throw the ball. I think throwing the ball in an offense and throwing it well comes with a good amount of experience, which he doesn't have. I think he has the skill set and he can do it. He just needs to get the experience in this offense, and that's going to take some time. So, if he does get the start, I think K-State might dial up maybe a watered down offense for him where he can use his athleticism. But you're going to have to understand that I think you're going to see potentially some freshman mistakes from him. And it's all a learning experience. That's great. But if he does get the start, I think people will realize that, hey, he needs to get some experience under his belt to be a true powerhouse in this offense. And I think he can. I mean, he's definitely got the skills to do it. He's just lacking the experience. So, with Will Howard hurt, let's see how it plays out. It's clear that Avery Johnson is an excellent athlete, but we've just got to see, we've got to give him a chance to develop. I think we learned something about our defense in this game. Our secondary is not quite as ready as we thought. They were exposed in this game. I think you saw our safety, Siegel, out of position a few times on a lot of those big plays. Parrish, they were almost picking on him, all right, at corner. So I think there's some work that needs to be done there. They didn't do bad outside of the big plays. I just think that Missouri was able to dial up some plays and potentially confuse them. Because, keep in mind, Siegel, he's fairly new, I think, at where he is at safety. Parrish, he's a young guy. He's a sophomore. So, I think maybe Missouri was able to confuse those guys a little bit. The idea was to either get Burden open or use him as a decoy. And they did that very well. I think when you have the level of player like a Burden, it opens things up for your offense. Just the threat of him in the offense, I think, threw some things off with our defense. They were able to get some big plays, and that was the difference in the game. Well, let's talk a little bit about how things went around the Big 12. As you know, K-State loses to Missouri, non-conference. Cincinnati loses to Miami of Ohio, 31-24 at home. Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama, 33-7 at home. That's an interesting outcome there. It wasn't close. They got blown out. So I don't know if Oklahoma State is that bad or if South Alabama is that good. Could have just been a matchup issue. Maybe they just weren't mentally ready to play, but that's a bad loss for them. Texas Tech and Baylor get on the winning side of things this week. Texas Tech beats Tarleton State 41-3, and Baylor beats Long Island University 30-7. So those two teams get into the win column. TCU and Houston played the first conference game of the year, and TCU gets the win, 36-13. So Houston gets their first experience in Big 12 play, and they get the loss. Texas and Oklahoma took care of business this week. BYU took care of business this week. KU took care of business this week. They all got wins. So we're creeping up on conference play. Conference play really starts next week for KSU anyway. Big 12 season is here. It's here, guys. All right, so next game, K-State plays UCF, University of Central Florida. All right, newbie to the Big 12 in Manhattan coming up this Saturday. UCF is sitting at 3-0 right now on the season. They've been fairly dominant in their first few games. Of course, they haven't really played anybody significant, but they're going to be a tough challenge here. And K-State's going to have to be ready. K-State's going to have to go back to the drawing board, lick their wounds, and get things prepared and ready to play UCF. Hopefully Will Howard's ready. I'm really hoping to see Will Howard out there. He didn't seem that injured. He was able to still play. But when you sit out while you're in the game, I think you can take the pain, but sit down for a bit and try and walk again. If there's some swelling or something like that, we'll just have to see what type of injury he has. But hopefully he's able to play. I'll do a review session on UCF here in the next coming days, kind of talk about the matchups and talk about kind of what they bring to the table. And we'll kind of take it from there. So, again, UCF in Manhattan this Saturday, first conference game of the season. Let's go. All right. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. That's all I got for today.